Brilliant driving.
On the tightest of margins, our Grand Prix won and lost.
Brilliant onboard action there.
This is absolutely epic.
It's a showdown at sundown here at the Sakhir circuit. Welcome along to the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first Bahrain Grand Prix under lights and the third round of the Formula One World Championship in 2014. So far, we've seen Nico Rosberg win in Australia, Lewis Hamilton win in Malaysia. We get to the third round, and it's Rosberg and Hamilton on the front row. And maybe this man is his biggest title contender in 2014, because the way it's going, as the sun goes down at this Bahrain circuit, it's Mercedes racing off into the sunset. It's lights out, and away we go. And who's got the best start out of the front? Looks like Rosberg ahead of Hamilton, who will have the inside line into turn one. Hamilton tries to go down on the inside and nicks the lead from his teammate Nico Rosberg. Down towards turn four, Nico Rosberg tries to make a move around the outside. Hamilton's got his covered. He's going to have to go the long way round, forced off the track by his teammate Nico Rosberg, but there was no contact made, and it's Hamilton that leads them down the hill.
Yes, and they were both pointing at each other on the grid. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, but Lewis got the better secondary phase to the start and obviously got the right place into turn one.
So this is into turn four, where Rosberg gets forced wide by Hamilton, has to leave the track, but obviously no advantage there. And here comes Nico Rosberg into turn one for the lead. This Rosberg against Hamilton. Hamilton fights back. Rosberg has to concede the lead within a matter of meters, but Hamilton, was he caught unaware? Could he see Rosberg coming? He didn't manage to fend him off at the first time, but got the place straight back again.
Rosberg had DRS, of course, but he got in a little bit too hot into the braking zone. He'll refine that by 2 or 3 meters next time he gets a chance, and that confirms to me that Nico Rosberg is sitting there with fractionally the better combination.
Confirms to me as well, Martin, that these two are free to race.
It was a little bit aggressive from Lewis, but
it was for the lead. Hamilton, Rosberg part two, and he's going to try up the inside again. Rosberg, he's got DRS, and this time Lewis Hamilton locks up as well as Nico Rosberg. Now, does that give Rosberg the chance to keep hold of the lead? Looks to me like it does as they move up the hill now. Hamilton just couldn't get the traction to fight right back, but he's now going to get the slipstream, and towards turn four we go. Towards the outside of the track, Hamilton is pushed. Rosberg makes his move round that right-hander. Hamilton now trying to fight back down the hill. This is where Rosberg went off on the first lap. This is where Hamilton on lap 19 regains the lead back again. Whoa!
brilliant driving.
Oh, Ted, that's Esteban Gutierrez and Pastor Maldonado.
That could be a safety car. That's not going to be an easy car to...
Safety car is coming out,
yeah,
sorry Martin.
They anticipated the safety car. So both Mercedes have pitted.
We can get going once more. Safety car pulls away and the cars fly down the main straight. It's Lewis Hamilton ahead of Nico Rosberg. Behind, Nico Hülkenberg is having a go at Sergio Perez into turn one. The Force Indians get close. Hülkenberg has to concede as Perez protects that third place ahead of Jenson Button, and then Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo, and after Ricciardo it's Massa and Bottas. But here come the two Mercedes into turn four. It's Rosberg and Hamilton going wheel to wheel. Is that Rosberg squeezing his way? Is that Hamilton squeezing his way? It's Hamilton just in the lead. Nico Rosberg into the first turn we go. Is this the lead now for Rosberg? Hamilton manages to stay ahead. There's no team orders going on a Mercedes.
Rosberg will be way quicker out of turn two. He could get on the throttle, but Hamilton's covered the inside line, and those stickier tyres for Rosberg giving him better traction too. Will he leave him any space?
He's gone off the track. He's gone completely off the track, Nico Rosberg, but he's certainly not given up yet. He now has to, as Hamilton slots back into the lead again.
Wow.
On lap 52 of 57 here, and a lead that is under threat for Lewis Hamilton through no fault of his own. He built up a good gap. The safety car took that margin away, and now Rosberg wants to take victory away from him. It's the two Mercedes boys scrapping for it. The Silver Arrows going for gold here in Bahrain. Hamilton, our race leader. Rosberg in second, gaining all the time. Little bit too far back, but he's going to go for it down the inside. Has he outbraked himself? Yes, he has. Lewis Hamilton comes back into the lead once more. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg have just rounded the final turn, and Mercedes are going to make it back-to-back 1-2s. It's Lewis Hamilton who once again wins the Grand Prix. Hamilton triumphs in Bahrain from his teammate Nico Rosberg, and it is smiles all round of both celebration and relief in equal measure.
Nice work there, Lewis.
Nice work there, mate. That was... You had us all going there for a minute, mate.
Fantastic job this weekend, guys. We didn't really have the pace on this side of the garage, but still held on to it. Let's work on that. Thanks.
And for a 900th Formula One World Championship Grand Prix, that was an absolute corker.
We have a beautiful day here in the Gulf for the first round of the 2006 World Championship. Both of the previous races have been won by the pole sitter. Last year it was Fernando Alonso in the Renault. The year before that, Michael Schumacher. And Shuey is back on pole. And the 2006 Formula One World Championship begins now! What about Schumacher? Here he goes, look at Montoya up the middle. Alonso is attacking Massa. He makes him push to one side. Massa's weaved twice now, he can't do that again. Is Alonso going to have a run at him? Massa goes defensive, he was doing that for his team leader, undoubtedly.
Massa maintaining second place, but Alonso with a better run out of turn 4, and he is going to steal that position. That has immediately released Alonso after Michael Schumacher.
Whoa! As Massa loses it, and very nearly collects, that would be Alonso, yes.
I think he just locked a rear brake. Suddenly he is very much steering at the wrong part of the racetrack. Ooh, Alonso, good piece of driving from him there.
Michael Schumacher is not able to find that headline speed. Alonso is faster, he's considerably faster, he's really comfortable in this car now. Race leader Michael Schumacher comes in for his pit stop, but this is a vital moment now for Alonso. He's been released, he knows he's got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 laps in which he can try and build a lead on Michael Schumacher, then he can make his own stop and rejoin in front of the old master. This is crucial now for the Renault boys. They've got to be like clockwork here. It'll be a shorter stop, remember, than Ferrari, less fuel going in.
Well, he was 1.3 behind when Michael pitted. So that's how, oh, that was a great stop. Michael was 8.7, he's 7.7.
Second and a half faster.
Yeah, so he's going to get there. It's going to be very close. That traffic costing nearly. Here comes Michael, and I think he's going to get it, isn't he? Michael's doing 200 miles an hour. That is going to be so close, and surely Michael's got the momentum. No, Alonso's done it. Alonso's done it. Oh, Michael's trying to get around the outside, and he's not going to let him through. Just enough on that pit stop. Just a little bit less of a fuel. The Renault boys did a brilliant job, and Alonso takes the lead. How close do you need it?
On the tightest of margins, our Grand Prix won and lost, and you just had a great illustration of that right there. Out of the final corner comes Fernando Alonso. He wins the first round of the 2006 World Championship. Fernando Alonso beats Michael Schumacher in a straight fight here. He is a back-to-back Bahrain winner.
Fantastic, Fernando. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Really good.
Well done, guys. Well done. This race is yours. This race is thanks for the pit stop. So well done. It's your victory, this one. Thank you so much.
Alonso and Schumacher, the briefest of handshakes between them.
What a podium lineup. Alonso, Michael Schumacher, Kimi Raikkonen.
Victory number 9 in his career for Fernando Alonso. Michael Schumacher up on the podium for the 143rd time in what has been a truly epic career.
And as the sun has set here in the desert, it's time for a new dawn in Formula One. New regulations, radically different cars. Max Verstappen on the front row where the race was won from last year. Charles Leclerc with his second pole position here in Bahrain. And it's lights out and away we go. Brilliant start then for Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton already trying to get past Carlos Sainz, but it's Leclerc on the inside ahead of Verstappen. Carlos Sainz stays in third. Perez on the inside now with Lewis Hamilton. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle going on through turn 2, but Leclerc makes it into the lead. Perez stopping at exactly the same time as Charles Leclerc. Verstappen carries on his way now behind Leclerc, and well, Max Verstappen right on the gearbox of Charles Leclerc. That gap was 3 seconds, well, it's now down to a couple of car lengths. Max Verstappen, who's going now for the lead of the race, and in a shower of sparks makes his way into turn 1 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Tried to get past Leclerc as he came out of the pits, had to wait a lap, but now can Leclerc with DRS get back at Verstappen. We're heading towards turn 4. This has been a bit of a problem for these two in the past. No problem this time for Charles Leclerc. Can he stay on track? Then it's just as he retakes the lead from Max Verstappen.
Oh, he turned in there wincing, I'm sure. He really sliced across the front of the Red Bull. Absolutely fair, but he was ahead.
He's doing it again, he's going for it again, Max Verstappen, and he's got a quarter of a car length in front. Now they come out of turn 2, and he's got a couple of car lengths in front, Max Verstappen. That was so far back, but once again, Leclerc's got the DRS. This time he's got the inside line, forces Max a little bit wide, goes into turn 4. Leclerc, for the second lap running, has retaken the lead and has come out of turn 4 ahead. This is absolutely epic. Here he goes, here he goes, he's doing it.
It's miles different. Oh, that's a big old lock up, Max.
Well, this time he locks up, but did you hear the cheers of the crowd, who are absolutely loving this under the lights in Bahrain? This time around, Charles Leclerc, with the aid of that lock-up, has got the advantage going into turn 4, and he should be far enough ahead to keep that advantage as well. Well, he's going to slow down because we're going to get a safety car here because Pierre Gasly's Alpha Tauri has overheated and has caught fire. The marshal straight on there with the extinguisher, but that is a very, very hot Alpha.
Full safety car now.
So Charles Leclerc did pit, as you can see, and is coming back out and will retain the lead of the race. But that 5-second gap that he had is going to disappear.
And this is Max's favourite trick, isn't it?
Yep.
Trying to hustle the guy, and he's left himself very tight on that last corner, actually, has Max.
And
so
it's
no
not
wonder
helped.
the Ferrari disappeared.
It's not helped, and look, Sainz is right on the tail of Max Verstappen as they head down the straight. Leclerc is away and off into the distance. Sainz is alongside Max Verstappen. Leclerc leads, Verstappen on the inside, Sainz on the outside. Verstappen stays ahead, going into turn 1.
Hey, what's going on with the battery?
Battery fine.
No, it's not. I have no real... What the is this?
Verstappen is losing his cool, and he thinks he's losing his energy charging and his battery as well, and he might be about to lose second place here as well. Leclerc leads, Carlos Sainz pulls out to the inside and overtakes Max Verstappen, and it's a Ferrari 1-2 here in Bahrain. Absolutely incredible. And for this man, Charles Leclerc, who's won twice in Formula 1 before from pole, is going to win from pole again and start the season off with celebrations for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it is a 1-2 finish for the Scuderia.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on! That's exactly how we should start a season. Come on! 1-2, baby! 1-2! Yeah!
Part 4 then of this gripping soap opera, the Formula 1 World Championship in 2012, and who knows who's writing the scripts this afternoon. Raikkonen disappointed in qualifying, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton starting on the front row. It's away we go in Bahrain, decent start from Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Now, Sebastian Vettel through to complete 20 laps. There's Roman Grosjean, there's Kimi Raikkonen. For the last 6 laps, Kimi Raikkonen has lapped faster than Sebastian Vettel. He has closed down that advantage. Now here come the two Lotuses. Finally, Kimi Raikkonen does get past Roman Grosjean. That's been coming for a few laps now.
Raikkonen now just 1.1 behind the leader. What a story this would be if Kimi Raikkonen could win on his return, his 4th race of his return, and he's catching hand over fist of Vettel.
The Finnish driver gains ever nearer. Here he goes, the Lotus, the Red Bull, second, first, stays in second place, weaving all over the rear of that Red Bull. He's trying to make his way around the outside at turn 1. Sebastian Vettel's not going to let that happen.
Brilliant onboard action there.
Checker flag awaits Sebastian Vettel, who hasn't won since India last season, but here he comes, the defending champion, chalks up a first victory in 2012. Overjoyed, I'm sure.
Yes, baby! Yes, we got it! Oh, thank you, boys. Great car. This is your victory.
Jenson Button's going for it with Perez, and they almost came together down the straight. Brake dust coming off the front tyre of Perez. He's out in front, ahead of Rosberg, ahead of Button, but Button side by side on the exit of turn 2 means that two McLarens have got past the Mercedes in the last few seconds, but Rosberg is not going to give up at all. Like a heavyweight boxer who wants to go on for 25 rounds at the moment, despite a couple of black eyes and bleeding profusely. He just will not lie down on the canvas.
Jenson with a double slipstream, and Perez was smart enough, a little bit late in the day, but Perez was smart enough to see it coming. Perez had already got alongside and had DRS. Jenson had to get out of the throttle because his mate saw him coming and covered him off. Leaves him the required 1 car's width, which Nico Rosberg decided to fill. Now this is very brave from Jenson. It's a difficult corner and he braves it out around the outside. Great dicing between the two McLaren boys in 7th and 8th at the moment.
Jenson Button gets ahead of Sergio Perez, biding his time. He's waited a couple of laps. Button moves himself up into 6th spot. There, look, here's the battle. Perez is going to go for Button again. They're going to swap places, trade places. DRS helps Perez, but has he now got the fight to stick with Button? And somehow they managed to squeeze through, and I would have been amazed if they didn't touch there, Martin. Yeah.
This is Jenson really wanting to keep his position as team leader, psychologically and physically.
But how
he's going to lose his wing.
He just got a little bit too close, Sergio Perez, and he's lost a bit of his front wing. And well, Martin Whitmarsh just nods and says, well, maybe we saw that coming.
He just got a little bit trigger happy on the throttle. Jenson was covering him off at the apex.
He just hit me up the back. Calm him down.
Yeah, we can see
Calm him down.
Yeah, it's a nudge that could have cost Button as well, though, with a puncture. Perez is coming back for a bit more.
Going for it.
Well, the message from Jenson hasn't calmed him down much, has it?
You have to say, Perez's cars look a faster package, and Jenson's going to have to get really aggressive going up the hill. Look at this, McLaren still touching. One of them's going to run out of road.
And it's Sergio Perez that runs out of road, kicks up an awful lot of dust. Jenson Button manages to hang on to 5th place. Romain Grosjean now thinks, oh, I could take 6 off Perez here in a couple of corners' time. And there's 4 cars separated by what, about 25 metres it looks like to me.
Moving across them, you're on the straight wall bagging. Guys, come on, surely.
I don't think Jenson's enjoying this.
No, well, Sergio's quicker, isn't he? Whatever his setup is, he just seems to have the fast McLaren, even in the slipstream there. As Perez then.
And Grosjean's lost out there because he's touched the rear of the McLaren, thought there was a gap, wasn't quite there. And Grosjean just lost. Lucky his car didn't get spun round a bit. Tries to dance around the outside this time. What a race this lot are involved in. He's gone all the way round the outside. Grosjean manages to get past Perez, puts himself up in a 6th place.
Sort of DRS close there. And then, from that angle they looked like they touched, didn't they? And that's where Mark Webber then, going into turn 6, lost a place from
Sergio Perez.
Yeah,
who's been lifting weights such as the size of his muscles. Really has got him out and flexed him.
Look at this scrap down the main straight. Mark Webber in 8th. Fernando Alonso, who after a pretty disappointing time in practice, where he had a puncture on Friday and lost a lot of track time. Quite spectacular front puncture actually for Alonso. And look at this, he's much quicker than the Jaguar. Webber tries to go defensive. Alonso looks at going around the outside, but the speed differential here is quite considerable. Can Alonso get alongside now? He's having a real go through the zigzag. And as I say, offline here is very slippery, so Alonso doesn't want to take too many chances, but clearly he's a lot quicker than the Jaguar at the moment.
Yeah, he's still having those half attempts though, and then losing 20 metres on the way out of the corner. Oh, Webber off the gas. What was that all about? That's halfway down the straight. So a little test there. Was it a misshift or was it Mark playing some games? Alonso has got half a chance of a slipstream there. Jaguar, we know, is fast in a straight line, so he's got a strange. Then Webber very late on the brakes. Alonso understeering wide. Look at the acceleration difference as Webber disappears over the hill. And Alonso then nowhere near close enough to have a go down into turn 1, so didn't even bother with one of those little feigns that he's been doing. But this is for 8. But Alonso's pace, they're now losing 3 seconds a lap as they're fighting each other.
This is where he gave him a little pause, didn't he?
This is better, he's closer. Now he's got in that sweet. That is naughty, and Alonso says you should not do that. And he's right to say that. But can he nail him up the inside? It's a right-hander coming up. Surely Webber has got the space he needs. And I think Mark, we saw some frustration from him in Malaysia at the last Grand Prix, pushing people around off the start line. I think he's just being a touch naughty there.
Well, it's very interesting. Couple of things there we want to talk about afterwards. One of them where he appeared to slow. Was it a brake test, or did he have some kind of problem, Mark Webber? But certainly that was one thing. And I think Alonso will definitely want to have a word with him there about that change of direction. The rule, as I understand it, Martin, is you can move across once to block and that's it. And Alonso, you saw his hand coming off the wheel. This is great stuff here. Look at this though. Alonso, has he got through? I think he has. Mark Webber obviously made some sort of mistake into turn one, and Alonso has finally got past him.
And there is the earlier action. As I said, he moved the once and stayed on the inside, but it was too late to do that. Alonso probably should have spent more time thinking about the corner than putting his hand up, because you can't see that as the driver. You can't look in the mirror and see somebody making hand signals. And there's the mistake. Webber outbrakes himself in turn one and oh so nearly loses his nose on the rear wheel of the Renault. Here we're going to see another angle. Watch him just swipe across, and Alonso through.
Formula One is back, ladies and gentlemen, and it starts right here with the Bahrain Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, back-to-back poles for the first time ever, and Lewis Hamilton alongside him on the front row. And it's lights out, and away we go, and it's Max Verstappen against Lewis Hamilton. They both got away quite evenly. Hamilton tucks in behind the Red Bull, and Leclerc already alongside Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton goes into turn one behind Max Verstappen.
Verstappen was so smart. He just covered off. He would not let Hamilton up the inside of him at all. That's what I thought. He got a bit trigger happy with the throttle and went off and had his own accident. Can we have a racing lap, please?
Yeah, Max Verstappen leading in Bahrain for the second time in his career. He's only ever led one lap here before.
Smart.
And he's keeping him
minimising the length of the straight. He won't go until the line.
He's keeping the pack all backed up. He doesn't want to give Hamilton the slipstream, but he's got to go eventually. And Hamilton now will try and tuck in behind him, and Verstappen immediately darts over to the right-hand side of the track. Now, what is going to happen down into turn one? It's three abreast almost. Verstappen, Hamilton, and then Charles Leclerc. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with 16 laps to go, it is game on. Hamilton's in the lead. Verstappen's going to chase him down.
This is epic. And he's locked up into 10. He's gone wide.
He's gone very wide. And that will have cost him an awful lot of time. And that is exactly what Max Verstappen and Red Bull would want to see, as the gap now comes down to just 1 second. And they can see for their own eyes that Hamilton is starting to really struggle out there. Here he comes. I've got no rear, no grip, says Lewis Hamilton. He's looking in his wing mirrors to see what's happening at the rear. It's Max Verstappen coming his way. Hamilton moves to the middle of the track, forces Verstappen wider at turn one and positions that Mercedes beautifully. But is that only temporary from Lewis Hamilton? Can he now hold Max Verstappen up as they head towards turn four? Hamilton's going to force Verstappen the long way round. By the time they get to the corner, he's about a third of a car in front. By the time they get out of the corner, he's a whole car in front. Max Verstappen is ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
But will Hamilton be complaining because he took the position whilst off the racetrack?
Is that gaining an advantage in the way that the stewards would be looking at it? Did Lewis Hamilton force him over that way in defence? Did he have to leave the track, Max Verstappen? Or will the stewards say, no, that was unfair?
Hang on, what's going on? No, he's giving it back to him. He's giving it back because he took the position off the racetrack.
He's close, is Verstappen, but he might actually not be within DRS range when they get to it, because this is the part of the track where the Mercedes has had just that slender advantage over the Red Bull in the last few laps. It's got to be under a second as we start the final lap of this race, and it is by a few hundredths, just under a second. So there's the DRS for Verstappen. He's getting extra pace, but it's not enough to make an overtake here. More DRS then for Max Verstappen. It's gaining, but by the time they take turn 11, Hamilton's still out in front. Has Verstappen lost his chance now?
It's going to be very difficult from here. He's got to follow him through 12 and 13, then there's just one braking point left. Hamilton looks like he's just done enough. Extraordinary.
Hasn't won the opening race of the season, Lewis Hamilton, since Melbourne 2015. He's won the championship in 6 of the last 7 years. He starts this year going for a record-breaking 8th World Championship. He has been put under immense pressure by Max Verstappen and Red Bull here tonight. Sir Lewis Hamilton, as he is now, crosses the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Get in there, Lewis. Still got it, Bono.
Max Verstappen and Red Bull come home to take second place by the slenderest margin of just 0.7 of a second. They've been beaten by Mercedes tonight.